us into the confusion, because he wants his readers to think about. As I said before, that R.K. Narayan does not write anything without meaning. Whatever he writes, whatever he mentions, the situations, the sentences, choice of words, all these things are called style of writing. And style is a man, means R.K. Narayan has a unique style. Let us have a look at the same slide and let us know what it speaks about. The fellow is beating about the bush. Now the word fellow is used for the snake here. Please be careful. So the people said that the fellow is beating about the bush. So the meaning of bush is plants or shrub. This line means that the snake has hidden somewhere so deep that it is not visible right now, and therefore keeping the sticks in hand, they are poking desultorily. Means, you must have seen that when the children, they are playing cricket in an unordered or any rough place, so majority when the ball is lost, so what the children do, they run with a bat in their hand, they go there where the ball is lost. If there is a grass, so the children or the boys, they start moving the bat into the grass desultorily to find out the ball. Similarly, here in this situation, the boys and the servant, they are poking with that bamboo sticks in the grass to find the snake. Let us see and let us know whether the snake is out or not. They tucked up their dhotis, seized every available knife and crowbar, and began to hack the garden. There are 2-3 confusing words here, but before that I think I missed one line. That is, the fellow is beating about the bush, somewhere cried aptly. So here aptly means suitably, appropriately, or likely. They tucked up their dhotis. Since it is a garden, so we can assume that the clay or the land is dumb, it is full of water. So since their dhotis or whatever they have weared cannot be dirty, so that they just tucked up. The meaning of tuck here is given to fold. In monsoon season, when we go from the water, so we tucked up the ends of our dhotis or our trousers. Similarly, here also people, they tucked up their dhotis, seized every available knife. The meaning of seize is also given. It means to snatch or to take hold of. So now thing is to ponder over that whatever they are seizing every available knife because they want to cut the grass, and crowbar, and begin to hack the garden. Crowbar, the meaning of crowbar is given here. Crowbar is a steel bar bent at one or both ends. So many times it so happens that even if we read the meaning of any word, or even if we find out the word from the dictionary, we cannot get an image of that word. That, for example, here crowbar, the meaning is given that the steel bar bent at one or both ends, but still so many times its image is not clear. Therefore I have taken few images of crowbar. This is called crowbar. Now you must have seen this instrument many times, but when you hear about, or when you hear the word, the image does not immediately come to your mind. So just be aware of that this is called a crowbar. So now, as we know that in this particular paragraph, people are now, and look at the last line, began to hack the garden. So now, as we know that this is a situation where snake is lost, it has hidden somewhere else. Dasa is accused, or he is still in the process of being accused. People have not, we can say, left the assumption and presumption. Mother is in completely afraid, and it is a dangerous situation. The garden has turned into sinister. Earlier I was discussing how the word sinister is used by R.K. Narayan here in the story. So this is a situation where the entire team of that bungalow and the neighbors, they are involving. Second important point, as I was telling you, that R.K. Narayan describes Indianness in his stories. Majority R.K. Narayan involves Indian characters, Indian language, Indian dressing style, Indian mealing style and eating style, and so on and so forth. But most importantly, R.K. Narayan takes Indian mentality. As I was telling you that in our society, neighbors, they do take interest in our domestic matters, whether it is personal or impersonal, or whether it is related to relation, whether it is related to any difficulty, whatsoever it is. But neighbors are very interested. Similarly, we are also interested in taking interest in their matter. So here, as you can see, that boys, then servant and the neighbors, all together, they are ready to find the snake out, and they are walking for it. So this is one of the, we can say, one of the characteristics that how R.K. Narayan has described. I would not repeat the whole story, but now I would tell you to just have a short flashback to the story. Right now we are in the middle of the story, still end is to come. But just think that how the story was, taking shape. It is not very easy to begin something, and it is R.K. Narayan's, quality and characteristics that in each and every of his stories, in the beginning of the story, he, launches a type of climax. Actually, whether it is drama or whether it is a story, there are certain portions, there are certain parts. As you go to watch a movie, so in the beginning of the movie you are relaxed, action is in rising direction. In the middle of the story, during the interval majority, the situation is something, or situation turns something like that spectacular, or readers, they start thinking about what next. This is called climax. Climax is a situation where viewers and the listeners or the readers, they have to think that now what will happen. This is called climax technically. Soon after the climax, the action, it descends, means it goes down. In the beginning of the drama or the story, action was going up, but soon after the climax, the action is going down, means in the climax there is some problem, and to solve that problem, protagonist, hero and the characters, they are struggling, they are trying to find the solution, and once they find the solution, we call it an end, means happy ending. Now, why I am telling you all these things? All these things we have to match, we have to compare, we have to juxtapose in this particular story. What happens? You might not at a time decide who is the hero of the story. For example, if you say Dasa is a hero, so you need to know what heroism deeds he does in this story, that on the basis of which we can say that Dasa is the hero. First thing. Secondly, in R.K. Narayan's story, there is no literal villain. Means there is no any person playing a role of villain whom we can say that he does evil or he does bad to the hero or the heroine or the situation. Majority, the circumstances and the situation, that is again comic situation, they become the stump blocks, or we can say that they becomes the difficulties which the hero or the non-hero or the other characters or the protagonist, they have to pass through. So right now is a situation where the story is completely turning into comic element, simultaneously it is turning into suspicious. Means we do not know what will happen. If you are not read the story, means if you have not read the story earlier, and if you are reading R.K. Narayan for the first time, it is but sure that you will not leave his book or short story without reading the end. This is the characteristic of R.K. Narayan. As like in this story, readers, they will be energetic, or they will be curious to know what is next. This is very important. Let us have now next paragraph, and you have to keep these things in mind when you are reading the story technically, because we are not simply readers. We have to understand the situation, and then we have to critique the story. The second paragraph, still the paragraph number 2 continues, and it begins like, creepers, bushes and lawns were laid down. What could not trimmed was cut to the root. The inner walls of the house brightened with the unobstructed glare streaming in. When there was nothing more to be done, Dasa asked triumphantly, where is the snake? There are certain words which we need to know. Creeper means climbing plant, which in Gujarati you say velo. Trimmed means neat, tidy or orderly, means in a particular way, proper way. Unobstructed, it means clear or unhindered. Unobstructed is something which has no difficulty to pass through something. That is called unobstructed. And triumphantly means successfully. Now let us understand the paragraph. And this will be the end of the first session with this paragraph. Creepers, bushes and lawns were laid down. It means that, as we saw in the previous para, people were poking the garden with bamboo sticks and knives and crowbars. So now it is but natural that creepers and bushes, lawns means types of plants. They were laid down, means they were cut off. What could not be trimmed? Trimmed means neat, tidy or orderly, means what could not be cleaned was cut to the roots. And it is the reason why the inner walls of the house brightened with the unobstructed glare streaming in. It means that the trees and the plants in the garden were so long, or we can say they were at that length, that previously or earlier the sunlight or the glare could not stream in the house. But now, as there are no trees, no plants, there is nothing that obstructs that glare, so now that glare is streaming in. This is the reason. When there was nothing more to be done, Dasa asked triumphantly, because Dasa is still in that belief that there is no snake in the grass. Dasa has no worry about the snake, because he doesn't know, because he has not seen snake entering into the compound. Therefore he still believes that there is no snake. And therefore in the last he says that where is the snake, means still with in a satirical tone, Dasa asks the people around him, and Dasa asks the people who are busy in finding the snake, where is the snake, means Dasa is not still ready to accept that the snake has entered into the garden. This will be the end of the first session, and in the first session we have still completed the half story, and still the story is left to come to an end. So in the next session we will know whether Dasa could find the snake, whether people could find the snake or not, what is the result of the story, how people blamed Dasa, whether Dasa is going to be blamed as guilt or not, what will happen next, that we will see in the next session. Please hold on. Thank you so much.